Steering wheel, somebody tell him to give it to me.
There's something loose between my legs.
I don't know. Let go!
I'm heavier than a freaking boat.
Nothing you could say could make that any better.
Yeah, nobody.
No more radio for the rest of the race.
I'm going home. You.
Hello and welcome to DRS FC and F1 podcast by some soccer nerds. I have a lot of soccer nerds here with me, and I'm really excited about that. I'm André Carlisle. I got Eboni, who is one such soccer nerd. Eboni, how are you? How's your new year so far?
It was great. So far, so good. Hope yours was.
If you hear my voice, it wasn't the best, but it's all good. Donald Wine is another soccer nerd. Donald, how are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year. It's snowing. Finally. Bring me more.
You say finally, I say I hate this shit. But it's all good. Meghan, another soccer nerd. Meghan, how are you?
I'm trapped in a real life snow globe right now, so living my best life in a Hallmark movie.
I don't know if everybody saw the tweet of just like the phallic snow penis that came. Like this storm is ridiculous. It's like stretched all the way from like Kansas City to DC. I'm not really feeling it, and I did not consent. Kyle is another Kyle's another soccer nerd with us. Kyle, how are you?
I somehow did not get any of this snowstorm, which is surprising, but I'm good. I'm glad that I was able to drop the kids off at school after a 2-week break for them. I needed them out the house.
Kyle was like, see you later.
I'm like, this was great. I need you out. I need some silence.
Understandable. Yeah, been quite the long break. I think that's another thing that a lot of people were upset about, at least in my job, where it was like we just had a break and we're coming back and like now the kids have a snow day and it's like, no, I need these kids gone. So yeah, it's been hectic. All right, we have a lot to talk about. We're gonna do our New Year's hopes, dreams, predictions, resolutions, whatever for the 2025 season. It's not going to be our official 2025 season preview. We'll do that a little bit later. And there's still a lot of other off-season content that we want to put out. We got a lot of ideas. We were even talking before the pod of a couple really exciting ideas. So we're going to get back into some of that. But before the season kicks off in Australia this time, we'll do a big season preview. But we do have official driver lineups. And I'm going to give all of these, kind of set things up, because I think that will inform a little bit about our hopes and predictions and dreams and resolutions. So, driver lineups are official. Red Bull, Max Verstappen, and Liam Lawson.
Boo.
Correct.
Whack.
McLaren.
That's a choice.
It sure is. McLaren is unchanged. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Who's number one? We'll find out. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton.
Yay.
So, of course, once it turned 12:01 or even 12:00:01 is kind of exactly when I put on all my red and was like, here we go. I'm full on Tifosi. Mercedes has George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. Rookie, the chosen Kimi Antonelli, who crashed in his first practice. Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso, and Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll's still there. We'll talk about it.
Again, a choice.
Another choice.
I tell him
correct.
to be a family man, but his family is running the team. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. That is very fair.
Have daddy issues like normal rich people. Come on.
I know, right? Alpine, we've got Pierre Gasly and another rookie, Jack Doohan, Australian Jack Doohan. So interesting.
Rocking with Alpine.
Starting the Alpine train early. Eboni is the only one on that train for now. We'll talk about it. Haas has Esteban Ocon and Ollie Behrman, another rookie. VCAR, Visa Cash App, or just, what are they, Racing Bulls now?
Racing Bulls.
Yeah, sure.
Is that where we're going? Are you serious?
Yes.
Apparently, that's it.
Every year, they're like, what kind of bizarre shit can we have somebody say on international television? And
Right.
every year, they come up with a new bizarre thing to have us say.
Counterpoint. No. You guys are VCAR. Visa, Cash App, Audi, SUP, whatever you want to call yourself.
SUP.
Put some names in a hat and pull them out. We'll call you
Sup
that.
with your girl F1 team.
Yeah, you're the one that named yourself this.
No,
I'm gonna call him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
What did we say? We even said it last year. We just gonna call him Alpha Tori or Toro Rosso. Which one did we say?
Yeah.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
whatever one sounds better.
I think we had an amalgamation of the two. It was like a
Alpha
Alpha Rossi or something. Yeah.
Oh no, I missed that episode.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, it's an absolutely ridiculous thing. But apparently, Racing Bulls is going to be Yuki Tsunoda and another rookie, Isaac Hadjar. Very interesting. He was second place in F2, so there you go. Williams, Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon. It's quite a good driver lineup for a car that was not that good last year. We'll see how it goes. And Sauber Audi, Nico Hulkenberg. The Hulk is back, even though, unfortunately, with an Audi, Sauber car. And another rookie, Gabriel Bortoleto. So 6 rookies are going to start. I don't know if we'll end with 6 rookies in the season. We'll talk about it. But it's going to be very, very interesting. This is also the final year of a regulation set. We'll talk about that a little bit, but kind of high level about what that means is basically all the technical regulations and specifications on what the car, how to design a car, an F1 car, have been the same for a number of years. Like, Donald, do you remember when this regulation set came into being? What year was it?
I think it was 2014, 2015.
Okay, so this has been about
I think it's been about 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, of this
Damn, I didn't do
regulation
that
set,
right.
which kind of means that teams have kind of maximized as much as they're going to maximize. You know, like their engineers have been working with this car for a long time, and so you should see, in theory, teams be a little bit closer or a lot closer than they ever will be. New regulation sets usually come and they completely change because somebody usually gets a bit of a better head start and then other teams have to catch up. You've kind of seen that with Mercedes. You saw that with Red Bull as well. This is kind of the way that it goes sometimes. But I think we'll get into the new regulation set a little bit later. But we are expecting, isn't it? Or maybe I should ask this. Is anybody expecting to not have the most competitive season? Because I think that's kind of consensus right now, that every pod that I listen to is like, this should be the best season of just racing. And I feel like that's setting the bar kind of high, but also the way the season ended, maybe?
That depends on how these rookies do. Point blank, period. Because if the rookies are all 14 through 20, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like, we can have all these new names and all these new faces and changing, call signs, whatever you want to do. But if it's still Max at the top and a couple others that we know, or 2 or 3 or whatever, then it doesn't matter. That's what this is about. The change in all these drivers and all the resetting of the grid and all these new rookies is supposed to inject some new blood into this and some new competition. I want to see an Ollie Bierman challenge a Lando Norris. I don't necessarily want to see Liam Lawson do it. I want to see a Gabriel Bortoleto go up against a George Russell and win sometimes. But like last year, we saw all these replacements at the end of the year with all these, young kids and rookies and all this. And all of them came in and we're looking at the back of the grid and we see them all, fighting for 16th place. That can't be the goal for this. And especially with some of the new ones on some of these teams, right? Red Bull has a rookie. Mercedes has a rookie. They are not trying to challenge for 16th place. They need those points to challenge for 1. So that is the idea here. If the rookies are just going to be rookies in the back, then this won't be as competitive a season as we think it will be.
I actually feel like it's the opposite for me, not necessarily the rookies, but it will be close if Ferrari and McLaren just don't screw it up. It won't be that close, in my opinion. I feel like it's going to be those two teams should run away. Like, it should be a battle for those two, but everyone else is going to be competing for third and below, as long as those two teams don't screw it up.
I think the hard part is that there is a structural incentive if you're halfway through the season and you're not even close to competing to just pivot to next season. Not so much with engine regs, but with other regulations in the past. You've seen teams essentially do the NBA tanking of like, well, shit, we're going to get 4th either way. We might as well just pivot all of our resources into looking forward to next year. So I think if we get to the middle half and like Kyle says, Ferrari and McLaren haven't like totally run away with it. I think you have Red Bull and Mercedes buy in for longer. If, like Donald said, Kimi Antonelli is crashing every other weekend, causing chaos gremlin stuff in the back, Mercedes might just say, we're just going to go ahead and pivot. Sorry, George, you can win a race or two, but we're going to go ahead and put all of our development dollars and time into next season. Now, on the flip side,
or you see a Bottas.
Yeah, on the flip side, if Ferrari and McLaren go to the end, that makes next season even more interesting because at some point you are giving up some form of development. So you're either giving up 2025 or 2026. And so that'll be real interesting. And sort of like as a fan, I kind of hope nobody's running away with it at the halfway mark because it'll keep everybody invested in a way that'll be really interesting. And then the lower teams kind of get to spend their development dollars on the future. Sounds like I'm becoming like an F1 socialist here, but I just think it like makes it a little more interesting, even though in my heart of hearts, like I want Ferrari to sweep every goddamn race, but just like from a product standpoint, it'll be more interesting if folks are invested longer.
I'm gonna agree with that. Like, I agree that if the rookies aren't like doing anything to help their counterparts, then it's just gonna be another bloodbath. That's probably the wrong way to put that, but it's not gonna be fun.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, the more teams in it, the better. So, I mean, we wouldn't have come down to the last race of the season if it wasn't that fun. If people weren't. Like, you could tell people were, like, getting bored because it was just max. And we actually got to race this year, and people were excited again for F1. So I want that to continue. But I just don't see some of these rookies really helping their teams and making it fun. I do hope that Jack helps Alpine. And I hope that Kimi does not help Mercedes.
All right.
Relax.
We're not to that segment yet. Just give us a second. We're gonna get there. But yeah, I think I agree. Like, I think that's the other thing looming over this season. Like, yes, it's the final year of a regulation set, but also there's cost cap restrictions, there's wind tunnel restrictions, and that will bleed over into 2026, which is going to be a completely new regulation set. So I think you're absolutely right, Megan. Like, some teams are going to look at it and be like, hey, if we have a weird off, like we know we're nowhere near right now. Like, it doesn't incentivize us to keep going out and trying to win every race. We could get more money or more wind tunnel time to figure out these next regulations for 2026. Maybe we just like bank that. Because I heard even some people last year, I was listening to some podcasts were saying that maybe that's what Red Bull is doing even right now. It's just taking some of that time, getting more wind tunnel time so they can start building things up for 2026. But like, I think you're going to see a lot of interesting decisions made. Unfortunately, I'll say this. I hope those decisions aren't made too soon in the season, right? I want to see teams kind of scrap for at least 3/4 of the season. I would love it to go all the way to the end, but I know some teams are just going to be like, all right, 2026, the cars that we currently have right now ain't going to mean nothing, because in 2026, everything changes.
The chaos gremlin that lives in my heart does want the rookies to have some safe crashing, though, because it has the potential to like screw up some races. For those of you who didn't watch like pre-2014 F1, when we were closer and when we had rookies that did not necessarily know what they were doing all the time, you had a lot more chaos race results that ended up with unexpected winners, which just as like a pure fan of a team is like pretty exciting to see somebody live their dream that definitely wouldn't otherwise. Pierre Gasly famously like won a race he definitely probably shouldn't have. Like, he earned it at the end. He fought as hard as he could, but he shouldn't have been in that position to do it anyway. And so as a chaos gremlin at heart, like I said, I kind of hope we get some chaos. But that becomes harder, like you said, Andre, if they decide, at the summer break mark, we're not going to really pursue this year. And that's a bummer in any sport, right? Like, famously, we're all soccer fans. And the Prem, you have some teams that are like, well, we're not going to be in the top 4, but we're also not going to get relegated. So we're just going to kind of exist in this nebulous space, and our fans are going to hate it, and we're never going to do anything different. I don't want that for my F1 teams. I want my speedy boys to have fun and compete and not be held back by stupid things like regulations.
Wow, that's fair.
Out.
Do you feel seen?
Yeah, I'm sorry for anybody that I just put into like therapist mode where they're like, I came to this podcast to get away, Megan. I'm sorry. My college football team is there too. I understand. I feel it deeply.
Yeah, it is in any closed like sport, this is what happens sometimes. So I'm hoping F1 can avoid it. We're hoping for a very good year. But okay, so we have all of that to look forward to. The FIA is also being weird, so there might be some things about the FIA that change. The president wasn't he just reelected or something like that too? So like that's going to be really difficult. And if he's still committed to being a dumbass, we'll see how that goes. So
is that one of them votes? The votes that they announced afterwards, like, hey, by the way, we had this. Yeah. Oh, we forgot to tell you. My bad. It wouldn't have affected anything.
Exactly.
And you mean a guy where they don't have elections in his country might have just maybe not had an election? Wow. Oh my God.
I was going to say, Zach Brown over at McLaren has already basically been like, yeah, these stewards need to be full time. Like, we don't need this inconsistent bullshit. So Zach Brown's already said, like, you need to fix this.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the FIA is like, oh my God, you guys, like he has been reelected with like 127% of the vote. Like, I can't believe it. It's such a landslide. And it's like, all right, great. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, there's a lot that could happen there structurally for the sport. And honestly, I don't think the FIA is in a great bargaining position because they've pissed off everybody. So the drivers, the owners, team principals, like you mentioned, Zach Brown's already calling them out over their inconsistencies. Like, they don't really have anybody else on their side. So that's going to be something to watch throughout the season as well.
And my favorite part is FIA president Mohammed bin Salim has said, we don't have the money to employ full-time stewards. Bullshit, you don't.
Well, I love whenever an entity like FIA says that. I'm like, so cool. Where are the receipts? Where's the money going, buddy? Like, let's talk about it.
If like they don't have
you can't
money,
be this broke.
If they don't have the money for that, I need to know what their definition of money is because they have stuff that we don't have, in the form of dollar bills.
Like, have you seen their headquarters?
Whatever currency you want.
Where'd that Audi money go? Where'd that Audi coming in money go? Let's talk about it. Are you like the NWSL and you're gonna give everybody shirts that say "Where's the schedule"? Sorry, that's like a real deep blue sky cut of me and Andre the other day. I apologize, everyone.
Forget all that, right? Like, sixth place gets like $100 million. Like, where like that is money that I will never see. Ever. You could put that in a room and I would not know that was in the room with me. Like that is money. If that is not money to them, I need to know what money is to them. Because
the money in the room is wild.
Yeah.
Is the money in the room?
I'm now picturing Donald like Scrooge McDuck, except not jumping into the money. I don't know.
Have you ever met $100 million? Because if you have, we need to talk because I need some new friends.
I'm going to be honest. If I ever saw a stack of $100 million, I'd be like, no, I didn't. That's fake. Like, that amount of money doesn't exist in one place. Like, that's not how life works. So yeah, I agree with you. Okay, let's take a quick break because we do want to get into, each one of us has done a New Year's kind of like 2025 hope, and then kind of a resolution, prediction, dream, something or other. We didn't get really specific. We basically have two things from each person that we kind of are going to talk about, big, kind of like high level from the 2025 season. Again, we'll preview it a little bit more in depth when it gets closer, but we just thought this was a good time to kind of look ahead, get a little bit, thoughtful with some of the things that we do, except for Eboni and Alpine. We'll be right back. I am excited to go through these. I love the fact that we dropped them all on the dock and I can see them. So I'm like rubbing my hands Birdman style, ready to talk about
Andre's like, they finally did the work before class. I love it.
I'm so excited. The rundown is filled out. We're just going to go for it. Megan, let's start with you. You have a hope and a resolution / prediction, and I love both.
Okay, I'm going to try to do it in the voice and the spirit of which I typed this. I hope that Ferrari bake a cake filled with rainbows and smiles, and everybody will eat it and be happy and not crash into each other. Thank you, Mean Girls, for giving me the perfect moment. I want my two handsome, beautiful men to get along and to not become spicy Italians, but rather Italians who work together to bring the red stallion back some joy and some wins and a world championship. And if it is Lewis, that's fantastic. If it's Charles, obviously he's been my guy since the beginning. I think Lewis going out on top with a Ferrari world championship would literally be the icing on the most incredible career. He would have done it all, and he would have done it with the teams he wanted to do it with. My resolution is to be a better person and be nicer to Lance Stroll. Just kidding. That's never happened.
Like, not on this podcast.
Damn, we got to cut her mic? That's crazy. Got to kick her out of the group chat. That's wild.
We did not agree to these.
Instead of a resolution, because I can't be nice, I'm going to do a prediction. I think the McLaren fights get worse. I think they have this really good car. They both know they have this really good car. Lando is driver number one, but Oscar, I think, sometimes deserves to be driver number one. Deep T, I'm holding it down for your boy. You're not here, but I believe in him. And yeah, I'm just curious to see, because Zach Brown did not do a good job, in my opinion, last year of managing that situation. And hopefully they all got some group therapy together, but I don't think they did. So we'll see what's going to happen.
I love that one because, like, the thing that people have to know is that Mark Webber is Oscar Piastri's like manager. He notoriously was very upset at being labeled a number 2 driver. Oscar Piastri
Famously said number 2 driver, after winning a race. Famously.
Yeah, not bad for a number 2 driver. Yeah. He's not going to let Oscar Piastri be a number 2 driver, especially if Lando can't. Like, if we see the Lando that we saw last season, at the end of last season, when he was, quote unquote, trying to chase Max but wasn't doing shit. If we see that and Oscar continues to develop and grow, yeah, Mark Webber is not going to allow him to be a number 2 driver. And I think Oscar himself won't allow that either. We saw what he did. Was it to Lando and Monza, was it? Just passed him on turn 1. It was great. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous and think that your prediction of more McLaren infighting is going to be right, because they put such a like happy face on everything. Like, we got there in the end. We're really proud of both the drivers. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. And it's like, y'all realize we could hear y'all's radio calls, right? Like, that's not how it sounded. That's not what happened. And I understand Zach Brown is American, and one of our chief things is rewriting like facts and history. But like, I'm sorry, like we heard it that things were not amicable, and we'll see what happens in 2025.
And as we talked a lot about last season, Lando, do you have that dog in you? Is it a Chihuahua or is it a Pit Bull? We're gonna find out.
It is.
Is it either?
It is a stuffed teddy bear.
Is it any sort of
It's a
canine?
Pomeranian.
No, those have more bite.
Pomeranians are a
Those are
small but
aggressive.
hardy breed, okay?
They are.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend the off season tracking down different dog breeds, and every week I'll have a different dog breed, and we can ask Lando, are you
What
the
breed is Droopy Dog? Y'all remember him? What breed is Droopy Dog? Because I feel like he's got a little bit of Droopy Dog in him.
Yeah,
Bloodhound, ain't he?
Maybe.
yeah, maybe that's what I would have guessed.
Is he Courage the Cowardly Dog? I know it.
I mean,
Scrappy Doo, except not very scrappy.
yeah, not
No, Scrappy will
Small,
at least
just
want to
small.
fight.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
Small.
Scrappy was ready for it. And Lando, we'll see. All right, Ebony,
Hi.
it's time. Hope and prediction. Let's do it.
So mine was more of a personal hope. I really want to make it to a race this year. Even if I don't get in, being around that environment would just be so freaking cool.
Did you say even if you don't get in, you're
I mean-
standing outside?
Yeah, standing out, let me in.
Ebony just making vroom noises outside. Vroom, vroom.
I mean, tickets are like $5,000. So
No, that's fair. You're not wrong.
Yeah, no, yeah.
but
it's
you
a
know,
lot.
maybe one day. But just to be around it would be really, really cool. Just to be able to talk to people around the space would be a lot of fun. So that is my personal hope. But my prediction is what has everybody on this podcast very, very excited, because I'm predicting for the constructors, not for racers or drivers, for constructors, McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, Alpine, Mercedes.
She's gone French, friends. She's gone French.
Can
Wow.
you do me a favor?
Yeah.
And can you back up like 2 spots and say that team again, and then give me like from like 3 down? Can you read like 3, 4, and 5 for me?
Red Bull, Alpine,
Got you.
Mercedes.
Wait, hold on. Can you go back? Did you say Alpine?
What's that?
You said
Alpine four.
Alpine, then Mercedes?
Yeah.
You meant to say that?
Yeah.
Not like alphabetical order or nothing? Like you meant
Yeah.
Alpine finishing ahead of Mercedes in 2025.
From which Alpine altitude is the rocks that you are smoking? On this,
He's on that good stuff, that good French stuff. Notoriously a place.
I'm on a French high, okay? And
French
I don't like
Alps.
France. I don't like Paris. I don't like going to France, okay?
It does not sound like it right now.
But I think that the Mercedes rookie is going to be worse than the Alpine one. And nobody else is going to be good at all. So, I don't even rate Aston Martin, because even though they do have Newey, I don't believe in Lance Stroll. So
I just want to
That
point
is
out
fine. That we can understand.
the way you said that was 100% the like 50 Cent, like he said fuck 50, what me for? Lance Stroll in the corner is like, how did I get in this conversation? She didn't even say our team.
I'm just here for the fact that Adrian Newey is going to be catching so many strays this year for no reason other than he is linked with Lance Stroll.
I was going to say for one reason.
It's the only reason. And it is no diss to him. We are Newey fans on this podcast. But he's with Lance Stroll, so he's going to get served. And that's I'm looking forward to that this season, how he figures that out, because it requires a brain that he may not have, and I'm saying that with all respect.
I just want to understand, how does Alpine jump all the way up to fourth?
they finished the sixth.
Great. You know why they got sixth? Because they had one fluke race where they got a double podium. If you take away that double podium, they would not have had a podium in all 2024. They had two total.
But we're gonna have more
in
fluke
2023.
podiums because the chaos gremlins, they're gonna come.
But two podiums in 2023, none in 2022 with better drivers, and you were expecting it to be fourth.
I'm expecting them to be better than the other rookies that are out there. And that's why I think they jumped to fourth.
But there's still the whole other driver part.
You know?
And look, we may not like George Russell, but we can all agree George Russell is better than Pierre Gasly.
Can we?
Listen,
Yes.
we're going to talk about Pierre Gasly's doings in the offseason. Here's a little teaser, and maybe it's made him a little aerodynamic. We'll talk about it.
Look, I personally think that it's not going to be a fun season for George Russell. So therefore, I'm rocking with Alpine because Alpine's rocking with me. Fourth.
All right, so okay, all right. I do love this, and I love the energy of you going out there. I don't know if like trusting Alpine is the thing to do, but I love the fact that you're going bold with this. I do think I would feel a little bit better if like they shut down their factory. It feels like they're getting ready. They're just positioning themselves for a sale, right? So there is that. I do feel like if they were, because they're going to have Mercedes engines from 2026. If that started this year, I might be like, okay, because McLaren famously have Mercedes engines as well. So, which is also kind of hilarious that Mercedes finished so far behind McLaren with the same damn engine. Tells you how important all the aerodynamic stuff is and all the engineering around the engine, drivers as well. But all right, so I'm gonna be pro Eboni right now, and just try to go along with this and think about how this could happen. I do think the rookie driver thing is interesting. The one caveat is that they have a very unproven rookie too, and toward the end of the season, I think he had Esteban Ocon's car, and it wasn't great. Now, caveat, Ocon wasn't doing great with it either. Pierre Gasly was actually putting that thing consistently in Q3, which was interesting. And he did have some pretty decent finishes. I don't know if Doohan can follow him. If he can, and I know that Briatore, like the only thing he wants to do is position that team to get the highest sale price. Whatever kind of magic skirting of the rules or whatever they need to do. What'd you say, Kyle?
Cheating.
Correct. Exactly. Whatever they have to do without being caught, or even like once they're caught, then move on to the next cheating thing you want to do. They're going to go all out. He's going to go all out to try to maximize whatever sell price it is. So I could see in that instance them being very aggressive this year while some of the other teams pull back a little bit and focus on 2026.
I will say the only way Pierre Gasly will put Alpine on his back and carry him to fourth place is if he changes his approach to the intro music to the F1 theme. He cannot do this Mac Daddy mode thing that he was doing in 2024. That's got to go. He's got to be serious.
Wait.
He's got to look. Hey,
Wait, you're stepping on my corner. We're getting a new Pierre Gasly. Wait, we will talk about it.
Dress for the job you want, not for the job you got. That's what he needs to do.
No. I disagree. I want maximum fuckboy energy from Pierre Gasly. I think that's how you do it. I think that's what we need on the grid. I want to see him turn into his full self. That's what I want to see. Okay. All right. This is going to be interesting. We already have a massive prediction for the entire year. I love it. I think it's it's bold. I would have never have done it. It's bold. It gets the people going, as somebody said when we were talking about it before. But, this is going to be a weird year. Who knows what they have in store at Alpine to try and figure out how they maximize whatever results they may or may not get. We'll see. Kyle is very skeptical. Like the logical side of me is very much like Kyle is embodying the logical side of me right now, but I'm trying to get there because I think it would be fascinating. But okay, Kyle, let's go to yours. Your hope and your prediction for 2025.
My hope, and it's probably not going to happen, let's be real. I just hope the FIA gets its shit together. As we talked about, Zach Brown's already called them out for their stewards. It was reported that they got $280,000 in 2024 through driver fines itself.
Driver strike. The
drivers have called them out, so I'm just hoping they get their shit together. I don't want to know what the FIA did wrong. That would be a win. If I didn't know the FIA existed, that is my hope. It's probably not going to happen.
Kyle, I have a question for you real quick before you get to your prediction.
Yeah.
What's more likely, the FIA getting its shit together or Alpine finishing fourth?
Hey. It's not going to be the FIA.
Kyle, noted Francophile, longtime Alpine fan.
I'm gonna go with the FIA getting his shit together, and the biggest reason is my prediction is Kimi Antonelli will be the best rookie out of this bunch.
Oh, you have faith in the crown child, the one who's gonna save Toto Wolff and Mercedes.
Yes. I think the Mercedes car is going to be good enough to get points, which also will help. I feel like Kimi is going to be very much he might contend for a podium every once in a while. He might crash out. I don't know. There's a wide variance with him. There's no denying the kid's fast. Like, even in that practice that he did crash, he was going quick. And I think the more he gets used to it, he's in a car that can compete as well. So I think that's going to be the key is Kimi Antonelli is going to be a good enough driver. Like, you're not nearly bending the rules to bring this kid in if you don't think he can do it. They could have gone safe and bring in Valtteri Bottas back. He is a reserve driver, but if Toto Wolff felt this confident about him, maybe there's something to it. And maybe George Russell is not going to like it when he finds out that Toto favors Antonelli. I mean, strategy-wise, George will get the better strategy and the better car. But I do think out of these rookies, Antonelli is in the best car out of all of them. The only argument you can make is Liam Lawson, but I think Liam Lawson is going to be too busy fighting with everyone else. I just have more faith that he is going to be quicker, and we're going to be more surprised with his performance compared to Duhan, who I just don't think is going to do as well. Bortoletto, God bless his soul, glad he won that F2 championship, but he's going to be sitting in the back with Sauber. Hadjar is going to be in the same situation. Ollie Behrman will probably do solid, but I just think Kimi Antonelli is going to be good enough and the best rookie out of the six.
This is some reckless speculation because I am not focused enough to Google to figure this out. But I will say, if Kimi gets to have the infrastructure that Lewis used to have, whether that's like his sub engineers, I think Bono said he's not going to be doing race engineering anymore, if I remember correctly. But assuming that the team doesn't get poached over to George's side, that they kind of keep it intact, I will say that Kimi probably has the best infrastructure of any of these drivers coming in, from having a team that is used to winning, that obviously has had a rough couple years, but still has the systems in place to kind of help onboard somebody. George, while he's not necessarily lived up to his potential, definitely took a step up from going from a Williams back of the track. When he got to that Mercedes, like, he was onboarded really well and he kind of stepped up. And so I think you're right, Kyle, that like Kimi could be really successful. I don't know that I'm confident enough to say he's going to be the best, but he's certainly been the child that people have talked about for years and years and years. And Mercedes is certainly making a risk, and certainly putting all their eggs in that basket.
So my only question about Kimi is really, is this season him to get acclimated to F1, or is he expected to perform in F1 this season? I think it's to get acclimated to F1. This 2026, a lot of things change again, as we talked about, including the cars. If he gets acclimated quickly and then he can also be competitive, that's benefits Mercedes. But they needed one to save face after Lewis said, bye, I'm off to Ferrari. So they needed to hype somebody up, whoever was gonna get in that seat. But because they already were, apparently Toto Wolff has already kind of crowned Kimi as the next one, it was kind of like, ready or not, kid, we need to get you up here, because it doesn't make any sense to even sign Bottas for like one season and then bring Kimi in. You have the spot available right now, you might as well try and get it. To me, this feels like getting him experience more so than expecting him to be competitive, and that's going to be interesting.
It's also a huge gamble for all these. I mean, I feel like especially Mercedes, it's a gamble in the sense that if this doesn't work, right, when they could have had Sainz, right, they could have just traded with Ferrari, essentially, yeah. Lewis for Carlos. If this doesn't work, and I don't know what work means in this case, but if they find out it doesn't, if they decide that this is an experiment that is a little too premature, does this cost Toto his job? Question.
Yeah, I actually think that's a fascinating one too, because I do think like it blows my mind a bit that Carlos is actually legitimately gonna drive for Williams. Yeah. Like there was an open Red Bull seat, there's an open Mercedes seat. Like I don't know what happened and why he didn't get one of those. It felt like anyone should have been like, all right, let's bring him in. But he's legitimately going to be driving with Williams, and it's just going to look really weird when you have like a teenager driving around in a Mercedes and Carlos Sainz, who's stood on the podium several times, rolling around in a Williams. We'll see how all that goes. But I like the prediction. I'm very, very fascinated to see what all the rookies can do, but especially Kimi. They put a lot of pressure on his shoulders. That's the other thing. Like they put a lot of pressure on him to be really good. And so if he's going to be the next one, let's see it. He's going to have to show it at some point, and I'm interested to see it. All right, Donald, let's go. Donald did extra credit. He did all of them. So let's go, Donald. What you got?
Yeah, very quickly. I mean, my resolution is to watch more F2 and old F1 races. One, for the F2, just what we've been talking about, the fact we have 6 rookies, and I haven't really been able to watch a lot of them drive on the F2 circuit or elsewhere. I want to learn more about some of the up-and-coming drivers and just, whatever little bit limited time we do have, I do want to watch them. But also old F1 races because the vibes, the nostalgia of watching some of these older drivers run. Okay, let's get to the hope and the prediction. The hope that I have is we have a true toss-up in the Drivers and Constructors Championship that goes all the way to the end of the season. How fun was the last month of the season knowing that the Constructors Championship was up for grabs down to the last couple of laps? I thought that was really cool. I hope we have that all year and we don't have what we had in 2023 where by, end of April, we're like, okay, so these races are over and it loses a lot of interest in people in those races. My prediction, Max finishes third. Not first,
into my
not
veins.
Second, third.
Music to my ears.
Don't ask me who's going to win or who's going to place, but I'm going to show you Max at third, and that might be in part due to the fact that Liam Lawson I don't know is ready to protect him in the way that Checo did, at least for a couple of seasons, not last year. But he can't. He clearly cannot sustain a whole season of being the unprotected driver out there and then having to resort to, what he does on the track, which we don't have to get into. But he finishes third.
I love that prediction, and I think it's very, very possible. And part of it is going to lean a bit into my resolution or my prediction, I'll say. I'm not going to drop it just yet, but there's going to be a lot of drivers on the grid who are new to going around the track with Max Verstappen. You saw when Oscar Piastri was like, now, Donald, in the episode, you said you don't think Oscar Piastri even saw him. And I think watching it back, like when Max crashed into him, watching it back, I agree. It looks like he didn't even know he was there. Still, I think you're not going to see that deference to Max from everybody on the grid. And that is something, especially without a driver to protect him, this is going to be, I'm hoping that this is going to be a very frustrating year for Max, and I think it's kind of shaping up to be.
Yeah, that's why I think Ferrari's going to do well, because it feels like Leclerc has a chip on his shoulder in a way, and Lewis absolutely does. And the two of them kind of see eye to eye on the fact that, we're both going to go for ours, but at the end of the day, we can protect each other on the track too, because they're going to, the idea is they're both going to be in positions to protect one or the other, or have it where at the end of the season where you had some races where Leclerc and Sainz were just kind of like, racing with each other while everyone else is in the back, like, just messing around. They're like 20 seconds ahead of everybody going like, okay, you want to take a couple laps? I'll take a couple laps and we can race and, we can see how this thing works. I think that's what Ferrari wants to do. But with the fact that Max just doesn't have that, we've seen how that works, at least for half a season where Checo had disappeared off the face of the planet. He's vulnerable. And like you said, if there's more people who are just like, who's this guy driving like shit? Like, I'm not going to take that. And I hope the grid starts to lean towards Max does not get this deference anymore. And if that's true, then he's not going to finish first.
Yeah, and to be honest, it doesn't even have to be the rookies being the ones to get in his way. Like if they're spinning off or causing yellow flags, if he's seconds ahead of somebody, suddenly yellow flag, and all of a sudden now he's got to be in a battle to like get his start right, which he's very good at his starts, but maybe he can be chased down if somebody else has, like a quicker car and all they need to do is get their strategy right, fresher tires, Abu Dhabi. Like we could talk about those things. Like it could be very, very interesting.
Part of me wants to say, like, yes, I can see Max finishing third. There's this small problem. There's like this whole evil empire. What fuckery is Red Bull going to pull to make this happen? I could see Liam Lawson doing a lot of dirty work, aka crashing into people, for Max Verstappen's bidding, which is probably why Liam Lawson got the seat ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, because Liam's probably going to be more willing to be the number 2 driver and do the dirty work that's needed. And I feel like it could just be a repeat of what we saw last year, where if Max has a good enough car, he will at least be up there to compete, and all he has to do is hope that McLaren don't have their shit together, and then he just has to hopefully beat Charles and Lewis, which is possible. We don't know how Ferrari is going to come in with their car. So there's like this small part of me that's like, there's just like this air of inevitability that Max will at least contend and possibly win, because deal with the devil Kansas City Chiefs style right now.
I will say, like, a thing, this is going to sound like I'm kidding, but I swear, like, I do think him having a kid is going to do something. I don't think it, like, totally takes him off his edge, but I do think it, like, uproots his life a little bit in a way that these guys have such regimented lives. He's away from home, he's away from his partner a lot of the time, but it's still going to impact him in a way. I don't think it's going to be the reason he finishes third, but I do think like he has a lot more chaos around him than he normally is going to have this year. Like he has a new partner. They have these upcoming regulations. He's about to have a major change in his life. I know he already has a stepchild, but it's a little different when you have an infant. Kyle, not to go all parent corner, but I'm sure you can tell us, but being sleep deprived for a long time. I think it is going to have an impact in a way. I don't know that means he'll be third, but like I am curious to see kind of what happens.
I think Max will be fine. He'll just cradle the baby in his racing simulator at like 3 a.m. and he'll be fine.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, he stays up all hours of the night, you know, and then in his racing sim anyway, doing his iRacing or whatever. So that's remember when they had to tell him to go to bed, like no more of this because he was just extra cranky on the radio? Like, yeah, I just feel like, you know, whatever. Okay. All right, let me get to mine. My hope. We saw it in Brazil. All right, this is the Genesis. Well, not the Genesis. This is like the icing. Like this was the final nail in, I think, the coffin that I don't think people have realized yet, or at least his dad hasn't realized yet. Lance Stroll in Brazil on the formation lap just went off the track. And then instead of choosing to get back on the track, he drove straight into gravel and was like, well, I'm done. To me, and we said at the time, he just wants to dance. Like, he's done with this F1 thing. He doesn't want to do this anymore. I think he knows he's not going to win a championship, no matter how good his dad tells him that he is, how much money he spends. My hope is that Lance Stroll gets the sweet release that he deserves, that he clearly wants, is that this is his last year in F1. That's my hope. Get somebody else. With Adrian Newey coming, like we said, Aston Martin has a real chance in 2026 to jump really far with their development and with the points they can accrue, how many podiums they can get on. They just need a serious driver lineup. No serious driver lineup has Lance Stroll in it. So they really need to figure this out for 2026. And I think this would be a great time to be like, all right, Lance, thank you so much for your time. Here is the season. You know, put it in. Like this is the last thing we're going to ask of you. And then go off, because honestly, I love Aston Martin cars. I love the rebrand. I know it's Force India, but they rebranded to Aston Martin. Like, I'm here for it. I like the green. I like the color of it. I like the look of the cars. I could really root for an Aston Martin team, ignoring Lawrence Stroll. I could really root for an Aston Martin team, and Adrian Newey would be it would be just outrageous if he could just maximize on another regulation change and design a car that is so much better than some of the others. So I'm kind of rooting for Aston Martin to do this. Apparently they have this brand new, beautiful, gorgeous facility with all the best, like the best wind tunnel, the best everything. I think they are prime to do something amazing. They just have Lance Stroll in the car. Get that, let him go. Let the dream die. Let him go dance and pursue whatever else he's going to do. It's a wrap for Lance Stroll. Let him go in 2025.
I think that moment in Brazil was him in that new terrible version of the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith being like, I hate it here. Like, it was him just like fundamentally trying to express how he felt. And that's such a bummer, right? Like, we want people, that was kind of the argument, we've had with some other like paid drivers before, is like, we want people who want to be there, and sometimes they do. But if you're not good enough and you don't want to be there, then why? Just go be professionally rich somewhere else.
I say this directly to Aston Martin, not Big Daddy Stroll, to Aston Martin, the brand, the shit that you see in Aston Martin on the street. Everyone goes, ooh, I would love to be in an Aston Martin. I would love to own one. I would love to drive one. I would love to be driven in one. When will you become Aston Martin and decide that no person is bigger than you, the brand? Because right now, when you hear Aston Martin, you don't think Aston Martin music with Rick Ross, as you should. You don't think great cars. You think Lance Stroll. And if you are thinking Lance Stroll, you need to reevaluate what made you Aston Martin in the first fucking place. And that would require being the big brand that you are and go, Big Daddy Stroll, I don't need your money anymore. I don't need your son anymore. I don't need the Stroll brand bringing down the Aston Martin brand. Until they do that, Aston Martin is relegated to 5th, 7th, 12th place. Because every other team on the grid has decided no one is bigger than the team. No one is bigger than the name, right? From Red Bull all the way down to when Audi and GM come in, they are not going to tolerate people going, oh, this is my team and I created this. You did not. Aston Martin did. And when Aston Martin decides they're going to take their money and go home, then what's Big Daddy Stroll going to do? Is he going to just continue to use this as his own little Lego farm? if he wants to do that, that's fine. But this is billions of dollars we're talking about. And the fact that Aston Martin has not stepped in yet and said, you, sir, cannot be using our money anymore. That is why Aston Martin is what Aston Martin is.
But he's the executive chairman. Like, who's going to step in and tell him no? You know what I mean? Like, not just of Aston Martin F1. He's like the executive chairman of Aston Martin, the company. So, like, I don't think there is anybody.
Oh, there is. There are stockholders who are losing money as we speak because Aston Martin, the brand, is being reduced to being in gravel in Brazil. But think of the lasting image of Aston Martin from last year. What is it? It's not anybody crossing a finish line. It was every single time Lance Stroll was getting out of his car 2 laps into the race or on a formation lap.
Here's the person, not the shareholders. It's going to be Adrian Newey because he's going to come in and be like, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean,
you gave me big money?
Yeah.
And I'm going to, no. Fernando Alonso, he's old, but he can still drive a car pretty decently. We can't do shit with this guy. No. He's going to look and be like, you expect me, you paid me all this money to build you a car to win. I did my end, you need to do your end, and that means getting rid of your son because he is not going to be the reason you win. Fernando Alonso probably also isn't the reason that you're going to win, but at least there's a chance with him.
Andretti Racing will enter F1 next year with no Andretti. Like, this can happen. Like, this can absolutely happen. So it's not about where he stands. Like, literally, somebody is going to walk in one day and be like, you have cost me enough money. We are through with this experiment. Until that happens, Aston Martin's just going to, like, just think about the respect that they're given on the track. Like, Alonso gets the respect. But, like, Aston Martin, when I see Aston Martin now, like, I'm like, 15th place. Like, that's how I feel about him because of the Stroll brand becoming synonymous with the Aston Martin brand. And I know anyone who owns an Aston Martin on Fisher Island down in Miami cannot be happy with that.
Also, Honda will be the engine for 2026 for Aston Martin. You know what they're going to say? We have this Japanese driver that is toiling away that can come in and do the job that you need to win.
With a massive chip on his shoulder.
With a fuck you chip.
Refuses to let him grow. Yeah.
Who can that be?
So Honda come in with the power unit for Aston Martin. They're not going with Mercedes. They won't be with Mercedes. They'll be with Honda.
And Adrian Newey works well with Honda. So, like, I think, like, the combination of Honda, them, and I also heard that they got some new investors on as well. Now, nobody's as rich as Stroll and obviously doesn't have the position. There's going to be a lot of pressure to be like, okay, we are not maximizing all of the funds, all the money that we put into this team if Lance Stroll is in the car, especially if you can put Yuki Tsunoda in the car for 2026. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah. All right. I love this energy. Again, fuck Lance Stroll energy is always on this podcast. I just felt like I need to unleash it for the first episode of 2025. My resolution, Meghan, you kind of stole it off the top. It's really my prediction, but you kind of stole it off the top. But this is what I want. If we're going to get a good season, having 6 rookies is kind of like makes things tough. Like Donald said, like sometimes if the rookies are fighting for like, 16th place or whatever, that's going to be a bad look. But I want like them to cause the right amount of chaos. They're going to cause chaos, but I want the right amount of chaos, the specific amount of chaos where like Max maybe has like an 8-second lead. He just drove by the pit lane. Suddenly there's a crash. Now we have teams that are able to pit and it's like 10 laps to go. Like maybe we get some of the good kind of chaos that like brings things together, gives us some of those weird, like Meghan mentioned earlier, maybe some of those weird like podium shots are hilarious. I love a weird podium. So I want to say, like in Brazil, weird ass podium. It's just Max and 2 Alpine drivers. Eboni loved it, but I want more weird podiums. And I want the rookies to come in. And, I mean, it's going to take them a minute. Like we saw, they came in, and some of them were really good, like, right away, like putting in fast laps. Problem is, race pace is very much different than qualifying. and we would see them qualify well and then either DNF because they crashed or fall down because the race pace is different. You have to be super, super consistent throughout all of your laps. It's a really hard thing to learn and to do, especially in these cars. So, like, I'm hoping that we get to see the rookies, as they learn, provide us the good kind of chaos, not like some F2. What was it? I can't remember the one F2 race where, like, as soon as the green flag waved and all the lights went out, like, there's just a massive crash. Like, half the cars crashed into each other. I don't really want to see that, but I do want to see, like, well-timed chaos, like fighting with other drivers, like pissing
A convenient engine failure.
I want to be the drivers.
I want to see a wheel get stuck on the car again, a la Valtteri Bottas. I want to see some kooky shit. I want to see some fun things I can post about Instagram. Right. Okay. I love the French. Things I've definitely said before.
Yeah, I mean, that's really my prediction. Rookie drivers are going to cause chaos. I just want the good kind of chaos, like the chef's kiss kind of chaos. It's going to be like, this race was good already, and then like the perfect thing happened at the perfect moment from this really inexperienced driver to just like take it to the next level. That's what I'm here for. All right. Should we do some quick pit stops? Because I think we just have like a couple things we want to hit on. So like, F1 driver logos, who dropped that in there? Because I don't even know that was a thing. Okay, what's happening?
Fun fact. Every driver has some sort of graphic logo that they use on their merch, on their helmets. You've seen it before. Max's famously has a lion. Charles Leclerc's looks like it says 15, but it's CL. So some of them are really good, and they can make changes every year. And some of them, like some of these rookies and frickin' Hulk, decided that they were just going to do a fancy font, and it looks bad. It looks like they went on Canva. Friends, you're going to put this shit on merch, it better look nice. And lack of creativity is not a thing you should have when you can pay lots of people to do nice logos for you. So if you want to check it out, if you just look up F1 driver logos 2025, it should pop up. Lots of people on the internet have lots of thoughts.
Shout out Liam Lawson with the L7 weenie logo there. Square.
Ollie Bierman looks like a bear.
He's a square. L7
Ollie's is great.
Yeah. Ollie's is fire.
Yeah.
Borderlettos is good too. I like Borderlettos.
I like Borderlettos because he does like a little. It's basically like it's almost like initials, but there's like a wing. It looks kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie, I do like Carlos Sainz, but Nico Hulkenberg, my guy, you let me down. It's just like he just chose a font, went italics. Like that's
he went on Fiverr.
Why did Kimi Antonelli take the Tim Hortons font?
Right? Many people are asking.
It is.
It really is. That's really unfortunate.
The Lando Norris one is a little weird.
It is.
Yeah, Lando has made like a whole separate. We can talk about this another time, but he's got like a gaming imprint that he uses that logo on. That's a little interesting. But yeah, it's just like a fun little quirk, right? Is like, how do these drivers choose to see themselves represented? And some of them spend a lot of time and money. Alex Albon is on his third logo in, 6 years, which is kind of interesting. I personally like this old one better, but it does look cool that he has an A and a little tinier A. But yeah, just Google it. It's pretty interesting to see, and you can judge Kimi and Nico Hulkenberg a lot.
Yeah.
Also, Isaac Hatcher.
Yeah, the Ollie Bierman honey badger looking one. Like,
yeah,
boy, you better drive like one day.
It's Ollie Bearman is how you're supposed to pronounce it. It's a bear.
There's nothing bear like.
That is absolutely a bear.
It is.
Put that shit on.
That's one of the best ones. Like, what are you doing?
I don't care what animal it is. It looks good.
I know it looks dope.
It looks like a cross between a wolverine and a honey badger.
That's
and
fine.
Trust me, I know what Wolverine look like.
That's kind of awesome. I'm here for it.
You better drive like one.
We'll drop
Russell's
this.
is dumb. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It is. Well, I mean, what do you expect? We'll drop this in the show notes, a link to this in the show notes if you're interested. Meghan, you also want to talk about perhaps Pierre Gasly's off-season activity?
Yes. Okay, friends. We are a soccer podcast by soccer nerds. And what do soccer nerds know better than hair transplant season, baby? Rob Holding. And so I regret to inform you that Pierre Gasly finally has lost the battle against his hairline. If you have been watching Pierre for a long time, you have noticed that hairline get a little thinner and a little farther back every single year. And how do I know this is happening? Well, friend, when you see a man with longer hair shave his head, you just know that he's taken a visit to Turkey. It's actually quite interesting. This is probably the only time that he has to do it, because a thing I didn't really think about is that he needs it to fully heal before he starts doing testing. And so we fully support it. We love it. We hope that he enjoys his new hairline. But you can never escape a soccer fan from noticing that you are taking an expensive trip to Turkey.
Just come home, man. Just
Look, all I'm gonna say is, it can work if it's did he go the Mo Salah route?
I'm telling
Where
you,
his
both Salah
performance
and Rob
stepped up.
Holding are. If you have money,
They
you're
are
gonna be
success
hot.
stories.
Like
Or
you're
is he
gonna
going
look
Edin
great.
Dzeko, where it's probably not gonna look good?
The Antonio Conte.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
image now is in my head.
Listen, Rob Holding pulled an Icelandic baddie with that new hair, and I think that alone should prove you should do it if you've got the money.
Granit Xhaka did it. To
Right.
be determined if it's gonna work out.
He went undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's gonna have to be feeling like his best self to fulfill Ebony's prediction and
You
prophecy.
know, I love it. I love it.
So I'm glad that he's doing this now so that he can get back to being his best self, feeling you look good, feel good, race good. They always say that. Whatever.
What is more French than looking even hotter?
Right? Thank you very much. This is amazing. I'm happy for him. I hope it works out. If it doesn't, then he goes from being like the pretty boy, like fuck boy on the grid, to being like, ugh, this dude's weird. So hopefully it works out for him. Couple things real quick from me. In February, there will be a car launch event. It's really just like a livery reveal, so we're not going to see like a whole lot in terms of like what the cars are going to actually look like or how they're going to be designed. But maybe if Deepti's around, we might try to see if we can get her in, get some boots on the ground and talk about what the liveries and the cars look like in real life. That might be kind of fun. Stay tuned. Also, prepare yourself. Like I said, right at stroke of midnight, Lewis Hamilton became a Ferrari driver, which not only meant that red is now my favorite color, it means that him and Roscoe will be joining Charles Leclerc and Leo, which are both their puppies. Just stay close to their Instagram. That's all I'm going to say. Follow both, because you're going to get some really adorable puppy content probably throughout the entire year and the entire time that Lewis is there. So just be aware of that whenever you see it. It's good. They've already met, I believe. So there is
They
content.
met in Silverstone.
Yes,
I think it was
yes.
Silverstone. They had
Yes.
pictures. Also, another like fun social media thing is we know Lewis has plenty of pictures of him in Ferrari gear as a kid, and
Yes.
that's going to be slowly used in marketing over the next couple of months. He already did it once when he announced his change on LinkedIn, which is a truly dorky thing to do, but we love it. He wanted to support Checo.
How did he
Not the
beat
LinkedIn update.
Checo to LinkedIn? What is happening?
But he posted a pretty cute picture of him in red driving a kart back in the day. And so we know that there's got to be more pictures out there that exist. And I, for one, am excited to cry when they do some sort of Italian anthem with pictures of him as a small child in Michael gear. So.
Yeah, it's going to be so many of the feels. I think if you saw, like, pay attention to Lewis likes getting you in your feelings sometimes, because I think he's always deep in his feelings. So like if you follow him and you see some of the stories he drops, like, yeah, you're just like, damn, dude, like, take it. Can't you just like post
Step
a photo
off our
of, like,
necks for
right?
1 second,
Like,
sir.
Just post a photo of like the $300 meal you just ate or something like everybody else does. But nah, he wants to get you right in the feels. I love it. And we have a Williams related final pit stop. Carlos Sainz is apparently full of praise for his new Williams teammate, Alex Albon, which I love. I love this because I do think that Alex Albon is one of those dudes who's like really good. He just seems like a really good dude. I'm going to read it because it's a quote. This was by Planet F1. I'll also drop the link down there. It says, Carlos said, I don't only rate him as a really good racing driver, but also as a great human. If you ask the other 19 drivers, who do you think is one of the genuine good guys on the grid? I think they would all say Alex, which is just very delightful and kind of just like we're missing the Carlos and Charles, which, you know, Charles let us in that things might not have all been great towards the end of the season. But I think overall they had a really good and healthy relationship. And it just seems like Carlos is also a good dude, despite looking like that, which I mean, like, is props to him because I feel like he could also be another fuckboy on the grid, but
I would have expected
really
him to be
dude.
the top one, if anything.
Right.
Weirdly, he's the one that had the longest girlfriend before that. He has a new girlfriend now, but he dated like his high school girlfriend basically for like a significant amount of time. And they only broke up like last year. I will say, I think Alex Albon is the most normal. Like none of them can be normal, but he seems like the most normal. If you've never, I think I've shouted this out before, but his family has an Instagram account for their pets, and he FaceTimed in to wish one of their cats a happy birthday the other night. Like that just is some normal ass behavior. None of the rest of them are like getting a cake for their cat for their birthday. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. We love a normal-ish king, a very wealthy but still a real person king.
Correct. As normal as you can be in that environment. We do appreciate it. All right. We're done with this episode. We'll have more coming up. Like I said, we have some really fun and interesting ideas to record episodes between now and the start of the season. But of course, when the season starts, we'll drop a preview. And then, of course, we'll get into the swing of things. We'll do our race previews. We'll do our race reviews. We'll get back in Azumi Boy and our, what we call it, the Checo Perez Memorial Gloomy Boy Awards. So, yes, we also
honorary.
have that, yes, to give out each race and predict for each race. In our preview, we might also do like a season-long Zoomy and Gloomy Boy Awards, too. We have a lot of things that we're going to do on this podcast. We're really excited for 2025. I'm excited to keep doing this podcast and do it for a full year. We jumped in kind of at the end of last year, which was really fun to do. We did rapid fire races, and I love the fact that we had previews and reviews out after every race. It was a lot, but it was fun because the season was fun. And I'm hoping 2025 is going to pick up right where that left off, except without Max being number 1, because Donald has him number 3. And Alpine is going to be 4th place, like Ebony said. So we got a really fun year if all of these things come true. So for Meghan, for Kyle, for Donald, and for Ebony, France's biggest fan, we're out of here. Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom.